In this video, you're going to learn how to create and manage organization. If you just created an account, you'll be taken to this page and you have to create an organization before you can proceed. This can only be done on the web part of the platform. So I'm going to call this Special Fruit Company. I'm going to say this is in Prosser, Washington. Just making up a zip code here. So I'm going to create an organization. Very simple, not much to it. And this is all the information that's really in the organization. It's really just a placeholder for people and for farms and weather stations and so on. It's a way of holding things together. So an organization can have one or more sites. A site can be a ranch or an orchard or a farm. Each of those can have multiple microclimates, and those are defined by weather stations or sensors. And then you also have management units, and these would be like a cherry block or a Cosmic Crisp apple block or so on. And so you have to fill out at least one of each of these in order to get started. Otherwise, an organization is kind of dangling. So you have to complete this form. If you don't complete it and you come back in, it will take you to where you left off, but you cannot continue until this form is completed. So site name, I'm going to call this Othello Farm. And I'm going to zip on over here, zoom in on Othello. I'm going to take a satellite view. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to randomly pick somebody's farm. I don't know any idea who this is. I'm going to say put it there. I'm going to use this location. I get a latitude and longitude. I can also just type in the latitude and longitude into these forms here. It takes up to 4 digits of latitude and longitude. That's enough precision. Once I'm done that, I have to create a microclimate, and that basically means selecting a weather station. I'm going to go ahead further. For now, I'm just going to pick a weather station. This is the most common thing to do. We'll talk more about this in another video about other things you can do on here. I'm going to call this Othello because I'm going to reference that's exactly the same as the weather station. So I'm just going to use the weather station name for that. And then I'm going to create a unit in here, and I'm going to call this, block A. And I'm going to say this is an apple block, and I'm going to say it's Cosmic Crisp. I'm done with all these things now, and we'll talk more about all these later, but you've done all this. You can create an organization. Now, in this case, I have to, once I've created, I have to select it because I already have another organization. So this is my new organization I've just created. It's busy pulling the data, and you can now look at, this is a mediagram for the Othello farm. And this is the weather station there is Othello. And so basically you can select a whole bunch of different things here when you have more units set up. I have 2 organizations. This is my main, this is the one I just created. Again, I can belong to more than one. I switch back and forth here. I can also switch back and forth on the mobile app to different organizations. If I want to change something in the organization, that happens over here. Notice on the left-hand side, it says I'm in the Special Fruit Company organization. This is to manage the organization. This is to manage the farm. This is where we change the site and the microclimate and the blocks. And this is where we can manage the users. All this will be discussed in other videos. But I'm going to go into the organization. And the main thing you might want to change the name of the organization. You might want to change the city, location, zip code. You might want to do any of this and save the changes. Or you might want to leave the organization. You don't want to be part of it. What happens is if I leave this organization, I'm the only member. So if I leave it, then it ceases to exist. If in fact you belong to an organization that, if I go to AWNfarm here, if I leave it, well, actually this one will still exist because I have other users, but it actually says it's deleted from me. I don't see it anymore. So I'm going to go to Special Fruit. And if I want to, I can go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And I've left the organization. And now I'm back in my AWNfarm organization here. And I can manage that from this page as well. So this is how you create and manage organizations. Later on, you'll learn about how to manage the farm and users.